Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live daily on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And hello Moonwalker, good afternoon to you. Before I go any further, let me go through the disclosures. All Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. As a reminder, the focus of my presentation and the focus of the Options with Doug channel in Bookmap Discord is options, order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and first is planning, and that's based on positional analysis. And I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to help develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range for the day, as well as a directional bias. And this is different from what many other traders use, like technical analysis or fundamental analysis. I think positional analysis is a new way of looking at the market that provides a significant edge. And the second step in my process is execution. And I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis and for setups for both entries and exits. And questions and comments are welcome. And I will be, as long as they're on topic. So on topic questions and comments are welcome. And I will be monitoring the Options with Doug chat in Discord as well as the chat in YouTube. Okay, let's get started. And what I want to talk about today is, first of all, go over some economic data, go over some news for this week, economic data and events. And then I'll go over our position analysis, and then finally talk about setups. So first of all, news, economic data, and events coming out this week. Not anything really significant as far as economic data, other than maybe this PPI and retail sales coming out tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and that could affect the how the market moves before the open. Then there are these industrial production numbers at 9:15 a.m. And notice as I'm scrolling through here, all the Fed speakers. So all week long, there are a number of FOMC members that are speaking. And then Thursday, building permits. This is indicating that it is of high significance. I'm not so sure about that. So anyway, building permits on Thursday morning and continuing jobless claims at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then finally, the January 20th is the monthly options expiration. And that should, I'll talk about that more, but the levels going into that are the 4,000 for SPX and 400 for SPY. And then those levels could potentially change as a lot of gamma expires on Friday, and traders and market makers position themselves after the January expiration on Friday. Okay, so again, we're looking for the SPY and SPX 4000, the significant levels, potentially pinning into Friday, and Spotgamma is looking for SPX to trade in the 3,900 to 4,000 range. Okay, let's go over our positional analysis. While I'm waiting on that, I want to start with the big picture. And this is the SPX 20-day 1-hour chart. And this is showing the current SPX Spotgamma levels. And the level that is really in play today, well, there are actually two levels. And I'll show in a zoomed in chart. So notice the 4,000 level here. And that is the call wall. And that is also the absolute gamma strike for SPX, and it is playing a large role today. And now let's zoom in, and I'll look at a closer up view. And this is showing not a lot of movement right below the call wall, the 4,000 level. And also there is a combo level right below that. And I'm and notice the high for the day here. At 40.15. And this was a level that Spotgamma noted as resistance in the AM Founders Note. And the reason is that is the SPY call wall. Okay, so that is so those are the SPX levels. One of the reasons that I'm looking at this chart is the Spotgamma cloud notes for Bookmap do show SPX levels, but right now they're still using a 25-point difference between SPX and SPY, and that's wrong. It's 20 points, and I've sent them an email to to adjust that. So anyway, this is the SPX chart showing the correct levels, at the right numbers. All right, let's look at Bookmap now, and this is the S&P 500 futures in Bookmap, and I'm showing two columns of levels. And the first, these are the Spotgamma cloud notes that I mentioned, and again, these need to be adjusted down. So this is showing the SPX call wall at 40.25, and the more accurate level is at the current level of about 420. So we can just go back to so ES 4020, and we can see that SPX right now is trading just below that level. So this is the more accurate SPX 4000 level. And again, that is the call wall and the absolute gamma strike, and is expected to act as resistance. and a potential level for pinning at the end of the week. And then the other significant thing to look at here, this is my level. These are my cloud notes, and these levels are correct as far as the SPY levels go. So this is the SPY 400 call wall, and the thing to note here is that was the final resistance level today, or so far the high of the day, that SPY 400 call wall. Now this resistance, and I need to change that, so I should have put that down here, and I'll adjust my charts. But I so far I've been sticking with the 25-point difference that Spotgamma is using for these levels, but I do need to make an adjustment. Okay, so those are the levels in play. And again, the important levels are the SPY 400 and SPX 4000 acting as resistance. And overnight, or actually over the weekend, between Friday and today, there were really no significant shifts in the key levels. SPX volatility trigger moved up slightly from 39.35 to 39.70, and that is the volatility trigger is Spotgamma's proprietary gamma flip level, where gamma would market makers position on the gamma curve would shift from negative below that level to positive above. Okay, and there's a question in YouTube. What are those white and red arrows in the toss chart? Oh, that's just some, those are actually red and blue, and I should turn that off. That's just, that's some other indicator that I have had in the past and really don't look at it. Oops. Okay, back to Bookmap. So again, right now, SPX is trading just at or below the 4,000 level. And again, there are no significant shifts in levels other than the shift slightly higher in the SPX volatility trigger. And let's take a look at the absolute gamma levels for SPX now. And again, this is just going to emphasize the importance of that 4,000 level. So what we're looking at here is absolute gamma and positive or call gamma above the zero line, and negative or put gamma below, shown in teal, and calls are shown in black. So again, 4,000 level, that's the call wall, as well as the absolute gamma strike. And here's SPY. And there's the 400 level. And that is the absolute or the key gamma strike. And then there is significant gamma down to put gamma down to 380, which is still the put wall. And the put wall is the strike with the largest net negative gamma, and that can be expected to act as support. So there's the the range in SPY, and probably more realistic for this week, is 390 to 400. And one of the reasons for that, let's take a look at the data. And as usual, I'm going to look at gamma notional, and this is market maker's position on the gamma curve, and this is showing SPX in the left column and SPY on the right. So when I compare morning from morning, so this number is actually from Friday afternoon, but I compare Friday morning to, in this case, Tuesday morning. And this is showing that market maker's position on the gamma curve is positive gamma. And that means, in this case, that market makers are long calls. That's Spotgamma's assumption. And that means that they have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure. So as price increases, they have to sell futures, and as price drops, they have to buy futures to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to reduce volatility. So that's one of the primary reasons I'm looking for a smaller trading range this week. And that's SPX, and SPY is still in negative gamma. Not significant, but it is still a negative gamma. So according to this, market makers would be trading with price action. So market makers in this case would be short puts, and they would need to trade in the direction of price to hedge their delta exposure. So kind of a mixed picture here, but overall, I think pretty neutral. Maybe to, if you look at the total, slightly negative gamma, but I'm looking at it as neutral. And just to give you an idea of the shifts, on Friday morning, SPX gamma notional was 210, positive 210, and now it is positive 297. So a shift a little bit higher. And SPY on Friday was minus 664, and today it's minus 580, so a little bit less negative. And finally, let's look at the Vanna charts, and this is a graphical illustration of what I was just saying. So what this is showing is how market makers' delta exposure changes with changes in price, and that's shown in the horizontal axis here, and their delta notional or delta exposure is shown in the vertical axis. So what this is showing, and I just draw a line through this green curve, which is showing how market makers' delta exposure changes with changes in price and implied volatility, and that is the Vanna effect, and that's again shown by the green line. And what this is showing is market makers' delta exposure increases as price increases, and that just illustrates why they have to sell futures as price rises. They want to remain delta neutral, and so this is assuming a delta neutral position at the open today. And as price deviates from that, and if it moves up, they would need to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. And we can just see how that has shifted over the last few days to more positive gamma. And then let's take a look at SPY. Now we see SPY in the other, going the other direction. So again, a mixed picture between SPY and SPX, showing that their delta exposure increases as price decreases. And let's just take a look at how that has shifted over time. So not a lot of change for SPY. Okay. Any questions so far? Yeah, not many. I don't see any questions in YouTube or in Discord. Okay, great. All right, so let's take a look at setups now. And the first one that I want to take a look at is Apple. And what I'm looking at is this reversal divergence lower. So traders start selling calls and buying puts. And then price follows a few minutes later. It looks like almost a half an hour later. So it gives you plenty of time to watch for this setup and look for a point on Bookmap of potential reversal. So let's do that. Let's go to Bookmap now. Go to Apple. So here's the reversal lower at the 137 liquidity with the target at the 135 key gamma strike. Let's zoom in on that. One interesting thing about many stocks is the high amount of liquidity that comes in right at the open and even more at the close, and that keeps the point of control, that purple line, pretty much at the same level all day. So I have to, if I'm looking at Bookmap with this big pink dot in there, I have to increase all the other volume dots to get any information. So here's the reversal, and you can see the small red dots here. That's a sell sweep coming in, and the pink dots showing market sell orders, aggressive sellers coming in and starting to move price lower. And remember, they started selling calls and buying puts around 10 a.m. So that's the setup in Apple. One thing I meant to show. Let's take a look at, this is my key gamma strike list. And what I do is I track the key gamma strike every day. I track the current day and the previous day. And then I color code these. Green indicates that the price or the key gamma strike increased from the previous day, and red indicates that it is has decreased from the previous day, and not providing a lot of information here. And one interesting thing to note is this decrease in the key gamma strike for Tesla, which didn't work out today. Tesla was a great bullish setup. So not always an indication of price direction for the day. And also I posted my Spotgamma watch list in Discord today. And I'll just bring that up for those in YouTube. Let me zoom in. So I ranked it from strongest to weakest. And a couple things to note here. Tesla at the top and Nvidia. And what this is showing is the hero signal, which is the hedging impact of real-time options, and the strength of the signal compared to the last 30 days. And that's shown by this, the entire length of this slider, and also the last 5 days, and that is shown by the colored portion. So this is showing that the hero signal for Tesla is the strongest it's been in the last 30 days, and stronger than it has been in the last 5 days. And the same for Nvidia. And another good long setup was Snowflake. So we'll look at all those. Okay, and back to setups. So there's Apple, the divergent short, and AMD, same kind of thing, and then reversal higher. Let's take a quick look at AMD. There it is. There's the reversal lower, all this sell liquidity coming in, sell limit orders, lower high. Not a lot of range today. This is certainly not a great setup. And we've looked at ES. Let's go back to that. Actually, yeah, we'll take a look at ES again. And I want to look at Hero. Let's go back to Hero. We'll take a look at ES now. And this is showing options trades for SPX and SPY combined into one signal in ES here. So it's showing SPX and SPY call and put transactions. And the first thing to note here, that it gave a good signal for a long in the morning. Traders are buying calls and selling puts, and then a divergence reversal lower. So price followed in both cases. And as you might gather, I like to look for divergences. I think they provide great signals. Gives you plenty of time in advance to set up your trade. All right, let's go back to Bookmap. And so the way I have the wrong line color here. I'll just show it with my pen tool. So the way to look at this is You see the divergence setting up in Hero. Let's go back to Hero now. And let's see exactly what traders were doing. So the total signal is a little bit more clear, the combined signal of puts and calls, but it shows that traders started selling calls as price was moving up to that SPY 400 level, and they also started buying puts, leading to that great divergence setup. So you see this lower high in Hero. That's step one. Then go to Bookmap. And you see this level at the 400 call wall, and expect that to act as resistance. Again, that's the SPY 400 call wall. Expect that to act as resistance, and it does. And there's your short setup. All right, let's take a quick look at the next one is Google. Go to Hero. Actually, before I do that, let's go to SPY in Hero here, and you can see the similarity between SPY and ES. Same setup. Options trade supporting along first thing in the morning, and then the divergence set up lower. Let's go. So again, to confirm, there's the reversal lower at the 400 call wall. So same thing at SPY. Now let's go take a look at Google. And here in this case, and this is not much of a setup, but it's worth looking at, this confirmation reversal higher. Just watching the total line. Price pretty much starts rising just about the same time. All right, let's go on. Next one was Meta. And in YouTube, Ancient the Architect asked, did I already cover Apple? Yes, I did. So you'll have to check the, unless I have time at the end, I'll go over it again. Otherwise, take a look at the recording, and I cover Apple. Covered that a few minutes ago. I'm just going to zoom in on this. Let's look. And so I thought this was a divergence higher setup, reversal higher. seeing that traders started buying calls. And they were buying puts, but they were buying more calls than puts. And then price starts to rise a few minutes later. Let's go take a look at Bookmap now. Not a lot of range in Bookmap today, but there's the reversal higher at the 135 key gamma strike. So pretty choppy action in Meta. Let's take a look at Netflix. And these are the better setups now. So let's go to Hero. Zoom in on this. So this is what I noticed. Let's just see if this provides any additional clarity. Not really. So I'm pretty zoomed in. So what I saw was traders started selling calls. Price initially dropped, increased, and then reversed lower again. So again, when you see this divergence set up in Hero, the next step is to go to Bookmap, look for a potential reversal level. No key gamma strikes in play here, but price did here. If you miss this reversal, there were several tests of the 328 level and then a move lower down to the 325 round number liquidity level. Let's go back to Hero now. The total signal, zoom all the way out. So it now looks like traders they've stopped selling calls and started buying calls, and price is moving higher again. Okay. So the setups are going to get even better other than the S&P 500. And here's NVIDIA. And notice here, in the morning, traders are buying calls. And that was what was driving price higher. And then as they stopped, price started to drop. And then let's clear this. I'm going to take a look at it. I'm going to change the rolling window period to 30 minutes. That should give a little bit more clarity. And it looks like traders have started buying calls again. They did around 11:30, and price started to move higher. And then as they started buying calls again around 1:30, price started moving a little bit higher again. So let's go take a look at Bookmap now. Go to NVIDIA. So here's the morning setup. Pretty sharp uptrend. And it would have been pretty difficult to catch this first move, but there were a couple of nice pullbacks. This one close to VWAP, and this one just below VWAP, around the 172 level. So multiple pullbacks with liquidity targets really at 173. I use this tool. Yeah, notice the liquidity that comes in just right a couple of minutes after the open. 173, 175, 177, and 178. So they made it up to 177. And one thing to note here is this is the upper edge of the expected move for the week. And this is something that I just get from Thinkorswim. And it's the one standard deviation expected move for the week based on options volatility. So interesting how price stopped right at that level. So now NVIDIA reversed higher about 11:30 and made it back up to that upper edge of the expected move and the 177 liquidity. And one thing to notice here, something that I don't look at too often, but CVD, this dark blue line, has been rising all day, and you can tell that by looking at all the green dots here, all the aggressive traders buying, with a rising CVD corresponds to that. All right, the last one. Let's see, I've got one on my other computer that I want to look at. Give me just a moment and I'll share my screen. Actually, didn't need to do that. Let's go to Snowflake. That's the one that I wanted to take a look at. And let's go take a look at Hero now. All right, so there's Snowflake. Take a look at Hero. So notice another strong hero signal now. And it's not quite as clean as some other stocks, but Hero has essentially been rising all day. I'm going to zoom in. Let's go to the morning session, and that provides a little bit more clarity. So here's the reversal higher around 940, 945 as traders were buying calls. All right. Actually, let me change that back. And let's go take a look at Bookmap again. And remember, we have to go here. So the first target was the 145 level. That's shown here. And then remember, we looked at zoom all the way out, this sharp increase again. So traders were not doing much until about 12:30, 12 o'clock. Price leveled off. And as they started buying calls again, that's when price started to increase. So one important thing to note here is, let's just go back to my couple things to note here. One again, this this is the screenshot that I posted this morning of my hero watch list. I posted this about 9:50. So we've seen great setups in Tesla, SPY, NVIDIA, now Snowflake. And the only one that we haven't looked at yet is Tesla. And I posted that in Discord as well. And other than SPY, the best setups were in the higher beta stocks: Tesla, NVIDIA, Snowflake. And remember, I talked about SPY, the ES, S&P 500 being in a kind of a neutral gamma regime and expecting more of a trading range today. So that is a good time to look at these higher beta stocks for more movement. And I'll show you, for example, let's go to put that on Tesla, and then let's compare, go to Bookmap and compare, first of all, SPY. So again, there's the 400 call wall, expecting that to act as a resistance, and it does. So my expected range for this for this move higher, reversal higher in the morning, was about 2 points. Seeing the reversal at the, and remember we talked about it the first thing in the morning that traders were taking positive delta positions. That was not the best setup for SPY. The reversal at the call wall was the better setup. But anyway, looking at it first thing in the morning here, seeing the reversal at the 398 C1 level, and your expected target is the 400 level, just 2 points away. So that's the expected trade for SPY. And then on the other hand, is Tesla. And again, this is the setup that I posted. I did post it a little bit late, sorry about that. But this is the trade in Tesla this morning, the long setup. And here the expected range was 5 points from the reversal just above the 125 level up to the 130 call wall. All right, let me check for questions. And all right. And Sam Pan asked, what color indicates what? White, etc. I assume you're referring to the hero chart. Let's take a quick look at hero for Tesla. And white is price, and the purple line is the total line. That shows put and call transactions. I'm reading a question from RT. All right, so if your thesis supports a buy order, then order flow in Bookmap is opposite, confirming a down market. It depends. So today I had no real directional bias for the S&P 500, if that's what you were talking about. So I was looking for these higher beta stocks like Tesla. So my thesis for Tesla, for example, was bullish. I was looking, it was strong in Tesla was strong pre-market, and then at the open I saw that Tesla was traders were buying calls in Tesla, and we'll see that right now. See the orange line rising. Let's zoom in here. I'm going to go to a 30-minute look back period. Go to the morning so we can see that a little bit more clearly. So traders were, I'm looking at the orange line now, and that's showing the rise and call line shows that traders are buying calls. Price drops. And there's your entry point. And RT is asking about my thesis, and I guess a thesis is just an assumption or expectation, and does it always work out? I think the expectation for SPY so far has worked out today. A reversal at the 400 call wall level, and that again I showed that traders were fading that move. Options traders were fading that move well before it happened. Signaling that potential reversal at 400. And then for Tesla, for example, if I had a thesis that based on the falling key gamma strike that it was bearish, this order flow and hedging flow did not confirm that. So seeing that, I would look for long, which is what I did. Look for long in Tesla. And again, that's the one that I posted in Discord. And Sampan asked again, color white, blue, orange, and hero. And first of all, the legend is shown up here. I know it's a little bit small, may be hard to read on my screen, but calls are orange, puts are blue, so a rising orange line means that traders are buying calls. And here it means they're selling those calls, so they're taking profits, which is the correct move. And then they were also selling puts, but mainly buying calls in the morning. And I think that was the primary driver of price in the morning. So let's go take a look at Bookmap now. There's Tesla. Here's the setup in the morning. And again, we see that traders are buying calls. And there's your drop lower. Here actually two setups. So if you missed the first one, there's the second pullback, the first reversal, the second pullback, and the very clear target at the 130 call wall. And notice one other thing here, all the green dots. So this small green dots here are showing a buy sweep. This is what I'm looking at. And then all the market buy orders shown by these larger green dots up to the 130 call wall. So great setup in Tesla here. Okay. So again, I showed good setups in the S&P 500, both long and especially the short, the reversal at the 400 SPY 400 call wall, and then some great long setups in the higher beta stocks like Tesla, Nvidia, and Snowflake. And let me do a final check for questions. And in Discord, Gray asked, how often do you update the call wall level? That call wall level comes from Spotgamma. So let's take a look and I'll show you where that comes from. Let's go to Equity Hub. And this is part of a Spotgamma subscription. And this is showing the call wall level. And the call wall depends on what options traders are doing. If they're not buying calls and not supporting that level, then nothing changes, or it could fall. But if they're buying calls at higher strikes, you would expect that level to rise. So the update to the call wall, this information is updated once daily. It's based on changes in open interest, and that is done once a day, sometime during the night. But again, the actual level, the change depends on what options traders are doing. So I hope that answers your question. So I change that on my Bookmap chart. I do that in a spreadsheet in my Cloud Notes, and I do that whenever the call wall level changes. All right, hope that answered your question. Then in YouTube, and Noah thanks. He's recommending Discord for Bookmap is free and has a wealth of knowledge. Highly recommend people check it out if they haven't already. Thank you very much. I agree. Yeah, it's all free, whether you subscribe to Bookmap or not, and all are welcome. And again, there's some great traders in here posting very good information. So that's all I have for today. Thank you very much for your questions, comments, and watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Bye.